Hey everyone, welcome to Dark Helmet Racing League Season 7, Round 1. We're at Catalunya tonight, or Barcelona, so other people would know it. It's first race of the new season, so see how everything gets going here. Got a bunch of stuff to go through, but we had 25 guys race with us tonight, so lots of stuff to go look at. Let's get into it. Alright, this one I'm going to put down to a racing incident. The BMW up ahead is a little slower than normal, and as the purple Aston Hero Gray comes through, the hole that he was driving into closed up. So that's just a racing incident. This other car comes from a long way back. Yeah, and then just takes the position. So this is going to be a bigger penalty than, well, it's going to be a 2.5 for avoidable contact. Driver of the 70. Avoidable contact 2.5. Alright, so for here, we're just watch the gap in front of the McLaren ahead to the Lamborghini, the blue Lamborghini ahead. That gap stays consistent, but the gap between the red McLaren and the McLaren ahead of it closes. So this is going to be on the 34 here. Same thing. Avoidable contact. 2.5. with Brandon Powell, so let's just watch his rejoin after this. It didn't really impact anybody. Just make sure. Rear chase. Yeah, nowhere near him. Nice, actually just got a little bit of net code to mark there, I think. So this is going to be an improper rejoin. You can see here, that's the line to go on. This driver had to alter their line, which is part of the new updates to the regulations this season. New document covers exactly this. Let's go check that one out. Just make sure we know what it says. Season 7 rule sets, which you can get from the QR code on the stream here if you want to get to it. But rejoining the track, we have a unsafe rejoin for level 1, which is drivers rejoining the track in a manner results in a car taking avoiding action. That's going to be this one. If the driver got a 1x or greater, then that would have been a 2.5 for this season. That's our revision to the rules for this season. So let's go grab Alex here. This is him. Gonna message. The driver of the 401. That was your copy. Grab my proper spreadsheet. Okay. This one. Gosh. McLaren looked a little hard to hold on to tonight. I think it did those kind of slides all the time. Those are all. We're cutting the track by looks. Alright, so per our rules, at the braking point, they're not alongside. As we walk it into the corner, At turn in, still not alongside. So at this point now it's the responsibility of the car on the inside to make the apex under control. Roll is forward, wide of apex by a good bit. So not under control, so this will be on the 92. And keep in mind, like, if you do have an incident like that where if you feel like you were at fault, you can wait for that car to regain control and let them pass you again, and you won't get any penalty points. But in this case, that didn't happen, so the penalty points are there. We like to show good sportsmanship here, so if you do have one where you know you did something you weren't supposed to, please try to self-regulate. It helps us a lot. Alright, so this one is just a racing incident. That's a loss of control. And then that's still just cars slower than they were supposed to be from losing control. So this is all a racing incident between them two. And Mike. This one's right on the cusp of what I would say is a unsafe rejoin like the other one. This one, um, the racing line is right up on the curb here. But this driver didn't have to lift, it only had to steer to avoid the incident. So I'm not going to ding it for the unsafe rejoin. Just keep in mind this is right on the very, very cusp of what I'll give a penalty for here. Just going to leave it noted for future reference. All right. Now, that is me, but as I said for the other incident, if you get into somebody and you think it's your fault, please redress the situation. So here you see Rick waiting for me. So yes, he did get into me, but he waits for me to rejoin. He does so fairly safely, stays wide, and there I go there and retake the position, and then off he goes. And I think he even said he was going to start the feature race from the pit lane, which you don't have to do that far. That might be for another incident. I don't know if he was in another one later in the race, but with this, in this case, it would have been penalty points because per our regs, like we had braking point, they weren't alongside, turn in point, still not alongside, like just. And Rick was a little unsighted. He's trying to battle here. I am kind of the BMW didn't like to go in here with a lot of speed, otherwise it understeered a lot, so I did have to lift a little earlier than he was probably expecting, and then he got into me there. But no big deal. He then redressed the situation, so it's awesome to see good sportsmanship. Rick is usually pretty good with his sportsmanship, and does this on a regular basis. And if more of us could do it, it would be great. There is sometimes where it's a borderline. We don't know if we were at fault or anything like that. I get it, and in those, I don't expect you to do it. Let us do our own process here to find it. But in this case, it's great to see the sportsmanship. He lost about 3 spots, I think. I lost about 3 spots, and then we raced on after that. So these are just going to be noted because of the contact, but nothing else happened. I don't think there was anything else in this one. This is just iRacing Porsche not liking touch on the front end when it's heavily weighted to get the move to happen there. So let's just make sure that rejoin was okay. Make sure nobody else was impacted because it was a really awkward spot. Waits for that car to go past, reverses, but doesn't go fully onto racing line, which is great. And then gets it straight. And nicely goes back on, so no issue there. And the contact from this registered. Interesting that iRacing is now registering that as a 2X. Something changed since the update on UI, so they are registering some incidents a little different than they used to, but no big deal here. No action for that one as well. And Renner, if you're gonna make comments, please come race with us. I guess you might have been busy tonight, but love to see you out, man. The field definitely enjoys your presence. That's a fun snap. A nice drift save. Right on the last lap, I think. Alright, so that's our sprint. Now we can go on to our feature in a second. Hopefully that one goes fairly smooth. Stuck out of town. I don't know about that. Where's your mobile sim rig? Come on. Gotta have one somewhere, right? Alright, so let's get into that feature then. So we have yet another spin just before the green comes out. That last corner is evil. He got into somebody as he's spinning. Cold tires, this last corner. All the cars are so nervous, and I think this one they're just going to have to say is racing incident, unfortunately. I got other ones to look at before this one happened. Let's go look at those ones first. This is the only time that redressing is really not the greatest. because penalties can happen. In this case, for that, going to be a penalty just for avoidable contact. Okay. Noted for him. Then get back onto this one. This one is just going to be a racing incident, which is the same for Mooney there. And Thomas. What's the next one? ABS out big time, which is similar to what happened to Mooney. So this will be a very similar call to the sprint race. Cold tires again, and ABS is not fun. Just watch that through again. Thomas tries to do as much as he can here to try to avoid the contact. He's trying to shoot the gap and everything, but just unfortunate there. Gets right into the left rear of Ryan and probably give him a nice bit of suspension damage. But he doesn't continue on. So this is like redressing. Let's just see how bad the damage is on Ryan. If both aren't able to continue, Ryan has to tow. It might change my decision here. Yeah, it's definitely got suspension damage. So I'll have to pit, but he didn't have to tow. And Thomas is still sat over there, so this did impact Ryan's race quite severely. It's way too early for him to make the finish on fuel. He is having to pit. So I'm going to continue the 2.5 just because the amount of damage that happened to Ryan. Yes, he redressed, but sometimes there's not much you can do to limit the penalty. Should I give it to the right person? Message. This is why we have fast repairs, though. So it's the driver of the 802. Avoidable contact 2.5. And noted for Ryan onto Powell. It's the same bit of contact. So this one is no action because there's nothing there. So this is just a stack up from the incident, so I'm not going to give any further penalties to Tyler here. So that's no action. Just double check from Tyler's point of view. Stack up, stop, gets hit by Mark as well. No action. And no action. And this is just continuation of the other incident, which he already got his penalty for, right there. Mooney. No action. Alright, this looks a bit wild. So it starts with this car. Alright, so everyone's battling. That'll be a 0x there. And went too deep. Let's see if he waits for him. He doesn't. Yep, it's definitely a 2.5. Similar to the other incidents. Double check how Brandon's rejoin goes after he gets going. This is Alright, let's roll this one back. This I was behind, so I'm curious to see what happened here. Alright, so this looks like it's going to be on the Mustang. So here, the McLaren does a good job and just squeezes, let's not say squeeze, maintains their line at the center of the track. The center of the track is 100% the right to do that. He's trying to make it so that the Mustang can't get a good entry into this corner and might want to back out of this. It's a good bit of racecraft, but unfortunately Phil was a little unaware of what he was doing. Probably didn't see him. I think Phil's still on a single monitor, so might not have had him in sight. Just saw him or heard him. Mustang so loud, probably couldn't even hear him. And they have just the minorest of contact, but iRacing decided to embellish it and make it into a bigger crash than it is. Luckily, there was no additional car bowling going on there. That would have sucked if it was any more. But it's going to be on Phil for avoidable contact. Better than 99. And avoidable contact 2.5. Let's just check the rejoin here. Sure, it's fine. But that would have sucked. I want to make sure that there is no anger. Okay, so this is similar to the other one that we let go with Mooney. See how, in this case, he's rejoining. There's not much else he can do on the rejoin here, but he's being very aware of the other cars and trying to stay as far over to the right as possible, including going farther off track to allow the car that's coming through the corner to have as much track as possible. So that one is a little bit. It was close, but it wasn't enough to do anything about. So this one I'm perfectly fine with. So no action there. Or sorry, this I would have been noted. To Alex here. Mooney basically would have stayed the same. If it all depends on who moved into who. So if the white car moved, if the blue car was in the same spot, being consistent on the inside of the track, and the white car moved into the blue car, that would have been on the white car. If the blue car moved into the white car, it's on the blue car. If they both moved into each other, that's a racing incident. And as long as one wasn't severely swerving into the other one at that time and the other one was barely moving, then it's just going to be a racing incident. But in this case, one was moving farther over to the right and kicked the other one, who was being very consistent on their line. No action there. No action there. Having no rear wing sucks. No action. Rick. Oy. Little snap of the oversteer at the wrong time. So this will be an unsafe rejoin. But only level 1, no incident point generation. There was this gap, but I would never drive into that gap either. So that's gap would always, the moment you go for that gap closes. Um, just because Murphy's Law would definitely dictate that one. So in this case, Rick's going to get the 1 point for unsafe rejoin. Driver of the 24. Alex still trying to make this thing work without a rear wing and struggling. And then he got to drive through later for incident points, I think, which also sucks. That thing looks like a pure handful. Yeah, same issue that that McLaren had earlier. It's so evil. This car. Rejoin what didn't impact anybody, so that's okay. That rejoin didn't impact anybody. Action. Car doesn't look any more fun to drive with the rear wing. Oh, that's unfortunate. Looked like you were setting up for a good move there. Awkward spot to be in. On these two giant sausage curbs. Ow. That's fine. Oof. Bruce Harris not happy. Now, this one does seem close, but bet you if we went in car with them, though, they would be feeling like they're in the middle of the track and they thought they were doing the right thing here. So, yeah. There's a minor lift, possibly even brake from Rick here. But if we went in car, Tyler here, he probably feels the back of his car is blocking the track. Yeah. So that was actually, I'm not going to fault him for here. He feels like he's completely blocking the track. He's just trying to get out of the way. Only from outside the car can you figure out that there was more room behind him than there was, but I'm not going to fault him for that. But just like that, this is nothing. That's just unlucky for Gray there. The spin just kind of, car just died in the middle of the track here. Gray did a good decision trying to go to the inside, but that's where the spin took them. Even with the rear tires spinning here, like, that's where the car was going to go anyways, regardless of still trying to go. More on that McLaren issue. Just evil how this car is right now. That does not looks unsavable when it does that. All right, that's it. And as you can see here, there was a lot of warnings and drive-throughs. The warnings are fine if you guys want to play up to that limit. Absolutely, you can run to um, the warnings for instant level. That's why they're there, is to let you know that you're getting close to the full penalty. And honestly, if you want to risk the little bit to see if there is pace in driving those instant points, that's fine. Just remember, if you do hit the limit, you're going to get that drive through. There was a bunch of drivers right near the end of the race that were burning their warnings right near the end there, so you only have 2 more incident points before you get that drive through. So I'm fine with you guys getting the warnings. Just keep in mind, if you get that drive through, it sucks. There was a few drivers that were right on the cusp with the last few laps, and so let's just say there was 3 of them ahead of me that I really wish all 3 would have got their drive-throughs, because I would have liked the positions. But they all played it nice. They all got to their warning and didn't go much more farther past that. So um, cool racing. See you at the next one. Next race we are at Indianapolis, which should be interesting with these cars. See how the racing goes. See if there's any good draft. BMW definitely drafted well. I don't know how the other ones do at this point. So I'll see you at the next one. Thanks, everyone.